Okay, so I'm going to go through the do now with you. I have my calculator open on that website that I shared with everybody. You have a calculator in front of you, hopefully, since you're in class. I already have this set up, but please make sure that you do the same as me. I'm going to put my f of x, which is my polynomial function, into y1. And then I have my rational function, h of x in y2. And I'm going to use them simultaneously. I'm going to review with you a bunch of different skills on the calculator and features so that way you know the most efficient way to do one of these questions. So in A, it is looking for the zeros. Please remember that the zeros are the same thing as your x-intercept. So in y1, I already have f of x. In y3, I'm going to put in 0. I'm also going to unhighlight y2 by going over to the equal sign and hitting enter. So now it's not going to graph that function, but I don't need to waste time deleting it and re-entering it in case my parts A and B are going to be used interchangeably, all the different functions. So we always start at Zoom 6. And as you can see, I have 3 intercepts here. So second trace 5, I'm going to scroll over, hit enter 3 times, x equals -1. Second trace 5, scroll over, x equals 0. Second trace 5, scroll over, 2. So you could have found these by factoring, but I did want to just review with you how to do this in case it shows up with a function that's not factorable, like if they were asking for a function that had a lot of decimals or something like that. So my answers were x equals -1, 0, and 2. So now they want to know the value of the function h when x equals 2.5. So I'm going to go to my home screen. Remember that you can evaluate in your home screen. I'm going to use y2 parentheses 2.5. I'm using y2 because that's where I have my function stored. So alpha trace, enter, 2, sorry, alpha trace 2. And then I'm going to put in 2.5. And I have 7.16 repeating. We want to talk about decimals. Whenever we are doing decimals in this class, we're going to go to 4 places after the decimal, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are going to truncate, which means that you are going to not round, just cut it off. 4 places after the decimal. And truncate. Okay. So now we're going to do part C. It wants the value of x. So my final answer is going to read x equals some number, I don't know yet, when f of x equals 2.5. So I already have y1 to be f of x. I'm going to change my y3 because this is a y equals to 2.5. So let's go back to my calculator. My y1 is still highlighted. I'm going to change this to be 2.5. Zoom 6. And once again, I'm using intersection, so second trace 5. Scroll over as far as I can. Enter 3 times, so I get x equals 2.32366972. 4 places after the decimal, so that's 3, 2, 3, 6. Now I want a point of intersection. So remember, a point is x comma y. So I'm going to go back to my y equals. I can delete my y3. I no longer need it. But I do want to turn my y2 back on. So I'm going to scroll over to my equal sign, turn that back on. Zoom 6. I see 2 points of intersection. Second trace 5. So I have 0.84 1.98, comma, negative 1.8080. And my second point, run that again, second trace 5, scroll to the other point of intersection, enter 3 times, 2.7211, comma, 7.3021. Okay, and then lastly, part E is a relative maximum for f, so make sure we're choosing the right function. y1 is what I'm using, f of x. So I'm going to go back to my y equals and unhighlight. Remember that a relative maximum is a y value only, unless they state otherwise. So I'm going to hit zoom 6 again. There's my picture. I want a relative maximum. So second trace 4. It's going to ask you for the left bound. So I'm going to go to the left, hit enter, to the right, hit enter, take a guess and hit enter. So my maximum is x equals negative 0.548582. Y equals 0.6311303. So that means my maximum is 0.6311. Now, the reason I copied down both the x and the y, there are no other follow-up questions. But if they were to ask me increasing interval or a decreasing interval, intervals are always x values. So I need the location of the maximum or the location of the minimum. So that's why it's good to always mark everything up and make sure you have everything copied down. Remember, 4 decimal places after the decimal. Truncating, here are all of your values. We went over alpha trace in the home screen to evaluate functions. We did a maximum, which is the same scale as a minimum. You would just choose the other option. We did points of intersection. We found zeros, all different features on our graph and on our calculator that we are using. So your homework answers are going to be in your printed class notes section, so you can take a look at those if you need to. You are going to hear all the steps of what we just did for you here. You are going to try this FRQ. The answers will be in your printed class notes as well. And there are some multiple choice questions for you to practice in addition.